your skies for amber waves of grain.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. Welcome to the Front Row Movie Reviews, the podcast for people who actually like movies. And we're done talking about movies we don't like, so we're actually going to like movies again, I promise. My name is Scott McFarlane, and welcome to the latest Front Row Flashbacks. Somewhere between the Cubs being a disappointment and the Cubs being a disappointment, there's about 2 decades worth of movies that define generations. And for many of their classics, for everyone, they are a flashback. And as I kind of allude to with the Cubs joking, and I am a huge Cubs fan, but they do disappoint quite a bit. It is April in the air. We just had our first April shower, kind of, on March 30th.
More like downpour.
Right,
Yes.
monsoon.
Yeah.
The birds are chirping, the grass is turning green, and in a few days it will be opening day. And depending on when Jeremy drops this, it may already be opening day. So for our flashback today, we're going to be discussing one of the quintessential baseball movies and one of the quintessential summer movies, and that is The Sandlot.
I thought you were going to say Rookie of the Year.
That's on the list.
I hope so.
That is on the list.
And that's... Yeah.
Well, there's so many that can be on that list.
Yeah.
And
If we
with
do
that,
Rookie of the Year, we have to do Major League, too.
Oh,
there's the good Major League.
Yeah.
The list is endless.
Which is back to the minors, right?
Right.
Off track already.
Since you've
Immediately.
already heard them, with me today we have
Kevin, I actually kind of like Batman v Superman Kulovic.
the Godfather himself. If you haven't listened to it yet, listen to Kevin's Godfather Dish podcast.
Ooh.
Absolutely
He
do.
gets a little wonky and it's great.
Yeah, I stutter a lot because...
You didn't stutter a lot, just a
Are you
little
kidding
bit.
me? Well, I mean,
He's
it's
so
better-
I was
pretty.
so
You're
amped. I was so amped and ready for the Godfather.
It's better than hearing Craig stuff his face with cannoli.
I mean, it just kind of made me want to
So tell me about
Hey, they were delicious.
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando.
And along with that,
Allison Means.
see, I put you at the end. So
I
you
don't
get
have a
confused.
pithy, like,
Well, you got to get more involved.
nicknamey thing.
Although you are quite involved.
Yeah, I'm pretty
You almost
involved.
have as many shows as Kevin has had now.
It's grown a lot.
We're the
in last
regulars.
couple
It's amazing what happens when we start recording at your house, Kevin. You get on more shows that way.
You make me watch movies for once. What is this movie? Okay, I guess I'll watch it from 1988.
Well, this one's 1993. We've moved up to the
This
millennials.
is a different one.
We were alive for this one.
Yes, I was alive. I've seen this hundreds of times.
Excellent. Well, for those who haven't seen it 100 times, I'm going to give you a brief plot summary, then we're going to go into just a discussion on the movie. So, our story begins with Scotty moving into a new neighborhood in a new state with his mom and stepdad. Scotty befriends Benny, a crack baseball player who happens to be in need of a 9th player on his Sandlot team. After teaching Scotty how to catch, throw, and perv on older women, the guys find themselves in a pickle when Scotty sends his stepdad's Babe Ruth autographed baseball into the clutches of the Beast, an English mastiff dog from hell. The kids, with the help of Babe Ruth fever dream, work together to get the ball back for Scotty, but it is destroyed. Luckily for them, the Beast owner, Mufasa, Mr. Myrtle, used to play ball with the Babe, so he gives Scotty a ball signed by the entire damned Yankees. The Sandlot kids gain a new dog mascot, a new friend, and we close with Benny in the big leagues and Scotty keeping score from the announcer booth. That is the Sandlot in a nutshell.
Very nice synopsis.
I had to get the perving on the older women in there. That's a big thing. And
I have
also,
a lot
again,
of feelings about that.
yeah, we will. Don't worry. We have Mufasa and Darth Vader all in one time. James Earl Jones.
Is there anything else to even talk about? I mean,
No, I think it covers
that's
it.
the movie,
That pretty much
pretty
covers
much.
it.
Thank you for listening.
We'll see you in the front row. Moving on.
Flashback.
So I guess let's go around the table and kind of just talk about our initial thoughts about this 1993, 23-year-old classic. Allison, what do you got?
This is, like you said, it's a quintessential summertime baseball coming-of-age story that I always related to really strongly because I moved a lot as a kid. So I was the new kid so many times. And that initial struggle to, like, find friends is so hard.
How's that going for you?
Well, I'm here with you guys, so there's that. But it definitely has always, rung true for me as having a lot in common with Smalls.
Excellent. Kevin, what do you got?
I relate to one character very well in this movie, and that's
That was-
Ham Porter. I was the chubby kid that always made play catcher, and I would always run, and I was always running my mouth. That is
not a surprise.
And so, and because we were doing this, I rewatched it. It's been a couple of years, and it brought back so many memories, and it felt like I was a kid again, just watching it and thinking back on all the times I watched it, and the joy I had, because that was our summers back in the day before electronics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You went, played sports, you went out and played ball. You did
Your
all
parents
kinds. Yeah.
kicked you out of the house.
Yeah, go, and that's what his mom says. Go have fun, get dirty, get into trouble. I love how she enunciates that. Get into trouble. She said it really goofy.
She's Indiana Jones's girl, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like Allison said, this is our old school, like for me being the millennial, our old school sports movie that we always went to, along with this, the Mighty Ducks, Rookie of the Year, and
You've basically just named off our schedule for the next 2 years.
well, and it's fine. and everybody listening to this, well, not everybody, but most everybody should probably really enjoy that list. Because
Hell yes, hell yes.
Great.
Except for the Cubs feature, that's okay.
Hey, we have the Dodgers
You're
and the Pirates in
outnumbered.
this movie.
I understand that, but
You're
this is different.
outnumbered.
This was about
Two
kids.
diehard Cubs fans.
About just kids playing ball, not.
We also have the Kansas City Monarchs on a hat.
On a hat.
Yeah,
That's true.
that was a good catch. Okay.
We'll get to the hat situation. I have some comments on some hats.
I think I have some hat comments too. I have some old man
You guys
comments.
can rant about hats, and I will rant about the portrayal of women in this movie.
Please do. I was hoping somebody would.
Oh, I will. Don't worry.
Because usually I'm the one that gets yelled at. Okay.
No, it'll be me.
So for me, Scotty says, well, for one, the guy's name is Scotty, which kind of just made interesting jokes for me in 1993. But Scotty mentions when he, in his opening narration, that he's in the 5th grade. Well, in 1993, I was in the 5th grade. So when I know. So when this movie came out, I was exactly the very same age as these guys in this movie. So it fit perfectly for me. Along with that, I am an avid baseball fan, have been my entire life. I blame that on my grandfather, who watched WGN and swore at the Cubs in the 1980s. He said a lot of interesting words that I learned while watching Cubs games. So, this movie hits home for me. I mean, it starts out with the older Scotty keeping score on a paper scorecard, which I can't tell you how many times I've done that in Wrigley Field. And it also brings back memories of my wonderful experience in Little League, where I can basically describe my time in Little League as I picked more flowers than most gardeners have. I basically sucked. During,
Is that what that means?
Yes.
He was in the outfield picking dandelions.
If you have the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles VHS tape, yes, I'm going back to VHS again. It's kind of a standard for me. There's a commercial at the beginning. It's a Pizza Hut commercial where the kid is in the back of right field and the guy's singing, "I play right field. It's important, you got to learn how to catch. You got to learn how to throw." No, you don't. Not in right field.
Especially in Little League.
No.
Yeah, right. No.
I'll give you an example. During one big game, I was on deck. We were down by a run, one out, one runner on second, bottom of the 6th, which was the final ending. And I was scared shitless. Then, just before I went up to bat, the guy in the front of me knocked a game-winning home run. So my coach turned to me and said, "I bet you're happy you don't have to be the last one out."
Oh,
By the way, I really hated that coach.
Yeah.
Coach Angel, you were kind of a dick. So
I'm sure he listens to our podcast.
Yeah, definitely. He's followed you.
If he does, I hope he defriends me.
Are you friends with him?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
I was gonna say.
So, but to put it mildly, I as much as I was terrible at baseball is my sport. So when it got to this time of the year, I just had to go for a movie that kind of fits all that. So it was great to go back and watch it again for the first time in about 10 years, and it's a movie that I'll go back to again, definitely. So, Kevin, you already kind of started. Let's talk about the cast a little bit.
Well, we have a bunch of... The adults have been in plenty of things, but then the kids did absolutely nothing after that.
Hey, all of them were in Boy Meets World, like all of them.
I know,
Every
yeah.
single one.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but then Benny became a felon after, as he's currently an LA firefighter who just beat the shit out of some guy, but he was just holding his legs.
It was just, tell us the story, Mr. Kolovic. Tell us the
All
story.
I know is I read, and there's like the guy that was getting beat up had audio, and then you can allegedly hear, was it Mike Vitar, saying, "I got the legs" or whatever, something like that. And now I guess they're waiting on trial and everything, but he pled not guilty.
So somewhere in
So that has, what does that mean?
He's like, I didn't hit it.
yeah, so, somewhere in a county jail in Los Angeles, you've got the Red Power Ranger and Benny Rodriguez hanging out. And
Gotta love those child actors.
oh, they're interesting. That's for damn sure.
Well, and honestly, looking at this cast too, you see the it's half the same cast of the Big Green.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm sidetracked.
And most of them are Mighty Ducks or Mighty Ducks 2.
Yeah.
There was just like a finite number of child actors, and then like early
In
to
Southern
mid-90s,
California, yes.
Yeah, you just rotate.
You had Patrick Bateman and the guy that played the kid with the glasses in this one.
Squints,
Squints, that's right.
who I sound like right now with my head cold.
But,
Forever.
and so then I'm like, oh yeah, both those guys were in Big Green.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, that has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
A movie that did worse than BVS, huh?
It was,
Oh man.
and I kind of felt bad because I can recall, actually looking back, it was a really stupid movie, but still.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you get a 0? Not even for the kid. You can't even get a
Well.
kid vote in there or anything like that.
Got a Kid's Choice Award.
But yeah, you have cast that has not done anything since then, except for, of course, like Dennis Leary, James Earl Jones, stuff like that.
Well, actually, I think the one I saw who's done the most outside the adults, because the adults obviously have a career, is the girl who played Peppercorn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's in a lot of stuff. She's got a movie coming out this year, I saw, where she's actually somewhat of a decent lead in it. So
Oh, good
Good for her.
Is she as hot as she was back then?
I'm not going to answer that. Allison may smack me.
I won't.
Okay.
Then yes.
I'll
Yeah,
look-
she's pretty hot.
I'll
I
look-
just pulled her up on IMDb. She's a pretty good looking lady.
What was her name?
Marley Shelton.
Thank you. That's what her name was.
Yeah, she's
She had like one speaking line in the movie, so.
a pretty lady.
Yeah, she looks epic Botox going on in that though.
Dude, she's like 50. Go with it.
Minor detail, I'm just saying.
She's a good looking lady.
She's not 50. She was born in 74.
She's 41.
Okay.
Close enough, Scott? Or is that what you're saying?
So she was 19 when
Go ahead
the
and
movie was made.
alienate all the 40-year-olds.
I just assume. I'm used to most shows nowadays where you have a high school kid. They're going to be 30 in real life.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was actually 19 when this was filmed,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't expecting that.
Like actually the age she was supposed to
Exactly, was not expecting that.
be.
But still, the movies she's been in.
Well, I'm not saying they were like she's
No,
not going to get an Oscar or anything.
No, but nothing I've ever even heard of.
But she's consistently working and good
she's
for her.
making a paycheck, unlike half the guys in this movie.
All the guys.
Yeah.
Unless, well, except for the abusive part.
Dennis Leary was doing well until Spider-Man caved, but
Yeah.
he got some good ghost money in Amazing Spider-Man.
He had Rescue Me.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
Rescue Me, by the way.
so,
Had a pretty successful TV show
yeah, that
for
was,
a while.
That was really ongoing.
If we ever start doing a TV podcast, I could rant for hours on Rescue Me, especially the last season.
Yeah, I've never really gotten into that one.
It's one of those you can binge on Netflix really quick.
Oh, there we go. I'm glad we're really sidetracky today.
It's flashbacks. That's what we do.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Always.
Welcome to the stream of consciousness.
Yeah, flashbacks.
What we do best.
But yeah, oh man. I forgot.
But speaking of Dennis Leary,
I'm sorry.
I'm
what was
sorry,
that?
I have.
Dennis Leary,
If you couldn't
whoever
tell,
he
if you
is.
couldn't tell, my nose is completely and clearly clogged. It is baseball season. I'm sinused up. But no.
Could have given you a shot of Crown or something.
Oh God, please! I got some pop over here we can put in. But no, dude, he's young.
Who?
Dennis Leary in this movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
in this movie.
Not now.
Not,
gonna say,
not
like-
now, but in the movie.
Because
yeah.
you know, like
He was
you
pretty young.
know it's Dennis Leary if you've seen the movie, and then the kid walks into the trophy room for the first time, and you see the back of Dennis's head because you're kind of seeing it from the kid's perspective, and he's the tall stepdad that you're supposed to be scared of. And he turns around, and I'm like, holy crap! It's 30-year-old Dennis Leary.
He turns 60 next year.
It's 30-year-old Dennis Leary. My man. Hey,
35.
okay, who said The Godfather came out 34 years ago?
Okay, yeah. that's-
Shut the heck up. Callbacks to other podcasts. That's what we do here.
Listen to them all. We have a back catalog.
It's kind of sad that we do a back catalog now. I wouldn't say they're all good, but we got it. But then you got Dennis Leary's character who, I don't care what year it is, 1962, 1993. No one keeps a Babe Ruth autographed baseball in the open air like that.
Oh, God, no.
No.
God,
Yeah,
no.
what the
Even
hell?
James Earl Jones has his in a cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a case or something. It was just like in a cup on top of a cabinet.
It was on a little, like, tripod type thing.
Yeah, it looked like a glass.
Yeah, no, don't do that. That's bad.
Yeah,
Poor Scotty had that plastic baseball mitt.
He didn't know, did he?
What?
Never mind.
I didn't know. Oh. Hey.
Scotty didn't know.
I only heard that about every 5 minutes in my college career, so I just had to throw it out. Go to a bar. Hey, this guy's name's Scott. Oh, good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Great.
Fun.
So, how about
that's fun.
Shall we move to hats?
No, let's talk about the kids first,
Okay.
and then we can talk
We'll
about your
talk-
hats,
we'll
because I
go
got a hat rant
Kids,
too.
hats, ladies.
Well, what I was going to do is the easiest way to go about this is talk about our favorite kid characters, and Kevin, you already kind of stepped on
Porter,
it.
man. I mean, he has his delivery in all of his lines. Are we already explicit?
Oh, I said shit. So,
Okay,
yeah.
You
so-
both said shit.
Sorry, Mom.
Everyone has said shit.
Luckily, my mom has not listened
He
to
was
these
so
podcasts.
fucking funny because and
Now he went not safe for work.
We definitely got that
oh,
explicit.
sorry, we can bleep that out and I could just keep it explicit.
No, because Jeremy will miss it, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Well, not now.
I'll just keep that one. And well, that when he's going back and forth with the competitive baseball team.
Oh my god, that is one of my favorite scenes.
And Smalls, he taught me. I think this is the movie where I learned how to make s'mores. I really think.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Because I would have been 4 when this came out, and I would have seen this.
I can see that.
And I think this
Yeah.
was the movie. And his just, it's not necessarily smugness, but he was just a smart ass.
But you know what? He
Oh,
ruined
yeah.
those s'mores.
You roast the mallow.
Yeah, I mean,
He
Wait till
burnt
it's
the
on
crap.
fire.
He burnt the crap out of those
You
You
marshmallows.
gotta let it get nice and golden brown on the outside.
Exactly.
you
That's
need
how
a
you do
slow
it.
bake so it's
Yeah.
soft throughout. So it's
And
not
who the hell
hard.
uses a candle?
Okay, what are you gonna start a fire in a treehouse?
They're fifth graders. I've done it. Dude, I worked at a summer camp for 7 years. You can start fires anywhere you
You
want.
sure can. I also worked at a couple of summer camps.
I only burnt down one cabin.
Scott will never be a scout leader.
I got a boy coming. I'm on my way.
Another Eagle Scout.
Heck yeah.
Oh, so yeah, Ham Porter
Yeah.
is by far my
Hamilton.
favorite. Well, he's Hamilton
Yeah.
Porter, and Ham Porter is.
You said his name 5 times now.
Hamilton. Is
like
he gonna pop out of a
it's like
mirror
Beetlejuice,
Bloody
he's gonna
Mary
show up.
or Beetlejuice?
Oh, hey Patrick.
Although the
What's up?
only thing I remember from that actor, aside from this, is there was a really bad movie that aired on either Showtime or Cinemax. Not that kind of movie.
Not
Showtime or
Cinemax.
Cinemax. No, it was at 9 o'clock, not 11
Okay,
o'clock.
okay.
But he got his head cut off and shrunken, and him and a bunch of other guys were flying shrunken heads.
That is the
Somebody
strangest
listening to this is
premise.
going to know exactly what I'm talking about. I have no idea what it was called. I just remember his head flying around. It was like a weird raunch comedy where he was a shrunken flying head.
And God bless him. He's one of those people that like puberty did nothing to him.
Yeah, he looks exactly.
He looks the same.
Yeah,
He got rid of some of his freckles, though.
and he's dropped some
I mean,
weight
that does
too.
happen. Your
And-
freckles fade out.
And he's just done a bunch of small stuff.
Yeah. Like guest appearances here
Yeah.
and there. One episode.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite kid, Allison?
My favorite kid, I always related so strongly with Smalls.
There you go.
I was bad at sports, but I liked them. And I was the new kid many times. So I related really strongly with him, so I gotta say Smalls.
See, that's a problem, because I was going to say Ham. You took that one. I was like, okay, I'll go with Smalls, and you took that one.
You
So-
can have the same favorite character as someone else.
Well, then it was Ham, because for the exact same reasons, I'm an asshole, and Ham is such an asshole, I just love him.
Oh yeah.
I just love him. Especially, you already mentioned the scene where they're playing the Tigers, which, for as good of uniforms as these guys have, they're a
God,
really
they were
crappy team.
terrible.
But he's just sitting there in that montage of him just talking to all the batters
the
that came up.
trash talk.
When he's catching and trash talking, shut up, poor. Oh my gosh.
I wonder if, how much of that was scripted and how much they were just like, go.
I don't know. It's pretty good whatever way.
It felt
It felt pretty genuine.
pretty genuine. And the way they had it cut, it seemed like it could have been just, the way Apatow movies, they just let them go until they find ones they like.
So, with that scene, real quick, can anyone tell me where the hell those guys were going in full uniform when they didn't have a game?
Maybe they just came from a game,
That's
Scott.
possible.
Do you know their life?
I find it... How many times have you seen a Little League team in full uniform riding their bikes around town?
Daily.
Every day they stop at Kevin's
The Capital
house
City Crush
and
just kind of
wave.
run around.
Yeah.
I think that's a Little League team.
I
actually
have
think
no idea.
I
Oh,
pulled
I
that
thought you
one.
made it up.
No, I actually legitimately think it's a Little League team.
No, yeah. Daily, Scott.
Okay, I'll just
Move
leave it.
point, move on.
They ride by Kevin's house. They wave.
Well, and they definitely play ball like a girl, so, or like me in that case. So that works.
And I love how that was just the biggest slay ever. Just that one line.
Oh no, he didn't say that.
What?
No.
What did you say?
the worst thing you could possibly be.
Yeah, no, Ham is the asshole that everyone knew in school, and if you didn't know who that asshole was, you were the asshole.
Yep.
Good way of putting it.
And I stole that from a comedian. I can't remember which comedian it was, but it was a good joke, so I use it.
Sure.
That's why I'll never do stand-up, because I steal shit. Well, it never stopped Dane Cook, so I mean...
Fair enough. He built a whole career on it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Thanks for bringing us
that's
back.
also the theme of Flashbacks, but yeah.
But yeah.
that is true.
Let's-
I-
Let's move right along.
Well, there's
go ahead.
different characters, true that.
Yeah, go for it.
Squints has definitely some points where he makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
pretty hard.
Oh, they're very
They
funny
each have-
characters.
Well,
I think those are the three main ones.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And Benny, of course. Benny, who is... I don't know how many pockets Benny has to where you can have a hat, a glove, a
He
spare...
has all the
He's got a
things.
spare tire iron to help out this
What made
guy.
him so special?
He is the saint of the neighborhood.
Magic. He's a baseball playing Mary Poppins.
But no, I think people are probably going to gravitate towards Small, Squints, and Ham because those are the three that actually have like definable characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Timmy and the repeating brother, kinda.
The Colossus.
yes. But the one thing I like about Squints is when they're doing the montage of all like the trying to get the ball back,
Uh-huh.
and every time he's nonchalant, you got it, go ahead, just go ahead,
Just
pull it
got
up,
it,
pull
you
it up.
got it.
Oh God!
0 to 60.
The pipe. It's pinched shut. I love how I'm like, why are you saying it? Why don't you yell, turn off the vacuum cleaner?
They're shorting out, which I've never seen a vacuum cleaner short out to a point where you couldn't turn it off. But
Unplug
it.
Unplug it, yeah.
Go figure, kids.
It's okay. Those are the same vacuum cleaners from the Rocketeer. Just throwing it
They
out there.
are.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, it's the Rocketeer vacuum cleaner. I guess that's the only vacuum cleaner from the 1930s through 60s.
Who even made it? Was this a Disney movie?
No, this was a cheap movie. That's what this was. I don't think it was any major company.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Somebody help me out with the IMDb.
We're looking up.
This pregnant prof is brought to you by IMDb.
We don't know who it is.
IMDb.
All it's saying I need to watch.
Well, while she's looking that up, Kevin, let's talk about hats. What do you got?
First off, that is the largest build hat in the history. Scotty's first one, that tan one.
The fishing hat.
And is it me, or did this movie create now what is modern and standard is the full hat?
The fitted cap?
The fitted cap.
I think, yeah, I can see that.
Because, I mean, when I was younger, I never saw those. We always had the adjustable ones, but watching this movie again, I'm like, I don't remember seeing those fitted caps.
I did like Benny's comment. It's like, do you have a fireplace? Yeah. Put that hat in it.
Yeah, that was. But yet he didn't do it.
No, because he's wearing it at the end of the movie.
At the end of the movie.
And I'm gonna have my daily get off my lawn moment. All the kids have their brims bent, and do we all remember? Well, Kevin, I don't know if Allison had baseball caps, but Kevin, you remember like bending your brim to make sure it was bent when you got a brim for a cap, like
Sure.
you didn't want it flat.
I had baseball
What the?
caps.
Okay, you remember bending the brim?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Rolling it up.
Yeah, you had to like stick it in the side
you
so it
were
would roll up.
a
Because
dweeb
no
if you
one
didn't.
would have a flat brim. What the hell is with kids nowadays in the flat brim hat?
You sound like
Can
such
somebody
an old
explain-
man right
I said,
now.
get off my goddamn lawn!
These kids in their
Get
flat
off my
brims.
goddamn lawn!
It's style, Scott. You just
Well, I have no
you're
style.
you are obviously
As
not
I'm doing a podcast in a suit, I have no style.
You are not a hipster like I am.
Yeah, you were such a hipster.
You know it.
You gotta
and that's
hop
what
on
I'm
those
trying-
trends.
I'm trying to say that, but nobody seems to agree with me, unfortunately.
With your college hoodie, you're such a hipster.
Yeah.
So, who made it? Come on, we're trying to fill
nothing.
gap time here.
I'm working on it, but I'm not very.
Okay.
Yeah, that just really just struck me. I was like, how did we not? I don't remember fitted caps. I mean, this takes place back further than when we were even.
Well, no, and
Okay, that's another thing. When is this supposed to be taking
1962.
place? It is in 62.
It's
Okay.
1962, which I think if you kind of extrapolate, then Benny's in the major leagues. I guess the final scenes are probably from the 1970s, late 70s,
That
maybe.
makes sense. Well, they said it was later in his career because.
Yeah, so maybe early 80s.
They say he's lost his step. Some guys say he's lost his step over.
Yeah,
the
his
years.
rubber legs, as Babe would put it.
Yeah, and the okay, so that puts it in.
It was 1962, where you could stick steak on a kid's black eye and not give him a coal eye.
And by the way, that steak was not even close to being red.
It was pretty brown, actually.
And
Yeah.
that's another thing I noticed. I was like, ooh, I wouldn't want to eat that steak at this
Well,
point.
you weren't going to want to eat after it's on Scotty's eye either.
Right.
But
Well,
I mean, I
wanna
had
eat that.
various
We'll cook off.
frozen foods put on various injuries, but it was usually like a bag of frozen peas. Was never just raw meat on my
it's
face.
the protein. The protein helps with the enzymes. I just made that up. I guess.
here, have some bacteria with your black eye.
There you go.
Ah!
Fight fire with fire. Bacteria is causing the.
No, not at all.
Oh well.
No, definitely.
Kevin, your mom's a nurse, right? How's that going for you?
She's retired.
She's retired. She imparted on me no knowledge.
She wants nothing to do
She's
with it.
living it up in Florida. She's single right now down there.
Ah, exciting.
Dad flew back today.
I was like,
They did,
I was
they did
about to
not,
say,
for those who know my parents did not.
that's why I said excited. I'm like, we're gonna get a story here. This
No.
is interesting.
Dad has a doctor's appointment. He had to come back.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I would have skipped the doctor's appointments myself for being in Florida, but that's just me.
Extraordinary circumstances.
Understood. Okay, well, now that we've kind of rambled on for a while and Allison's still trying to figure out. See, this tells you that it was made by nobody.
It
sure
was
there's
a
like
no.
25
I
minutes of
can't
ramble.
find it.
That the fact that we couldn't even find what studio put this out.
Can't
But
find anything that said that.
that being said,
Just
so
somebody
let's.
Google what studio.
That
this
is
came
exactly
on.
what I'm doing right
Well,
now.
while you're doing that, Allison,
Thanks,
tell us
Google.
about your favorite scene.
My favorite scene is at first I was struggling to decide which one, but I think when Squint is telling the story
Oh, that's an old school.
of
Yeah.
the Beast,
That epic stash at the end too.
it's pretty sweet.
With his grandfather, the sheriff.
Yeah.
Forever. Bird.
So explain to me why the kids need to have a camp out to tell that story. They're like, hold on, we gotta have a camp out first.
I mean, any excuse to have a camp out.
True.
It's summer.
And why do they call it a camp out? You're in a tree
You're in a
house.
treehouse.
In the Sandlot.
I think
Yeah,
they just
yeah.
wanted to hang out in the
And plus,
treehouse.
whose house was that?
That was the treehouse?
Yeah.
It was at the Sandlot.
It was
I know. So
community-
it was just a Sandlot treehouse.
Sandlot treehouse.
It was there for plot convenience. I don't know.
The production company was Island World. Yeah, never heard of it
Yep.
either.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so it was,
that's why it was
this
not
was
on
somebody's
IMDb.
pet project, and they put together a production house for it.
Company formed in.
Because-
Well, I mean,
Because-
it was written, directed, and the narrator are all the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then over 10 years, they made live action films. Started off as
Oh,
anime.
yeah,
then
don't-
it shut down in '95 after producing The Cure.
The Cure. There you go.
Yeah.
Not the band.
Not the band.
I'm looking.
Although they could have shut down after that too.
Oh, they produced Airheads.
Okay.
Okay,
How about that?
so there's that.
It's like the only one I actually.
I'm
recognize.
fairly sure that will never be on a flashback. Judging by the reaction we all had.
No, I just okay. So
Back to the scene.
back to what we were talking about. No, I love that. It's the over dramatic. It's a perfect representation of that super inflated, imaginative storytelling that kids do.
He killed 173 guys.
Right. Just and the way that they shot, they in the black and white and with the giant fake dog legs.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's just perfect. It captures that, like, we're gonna tell a scary story so perfectly.
And he can say he did a very nice job on creating that story too. And
Oh,
just
yeah.
his delivery of that.
Oh,
the
yeah.
flashlight under his face.
Oh yeah, the old school light too. And
Yeah. Well, and the flashback there too, where it was in grainy old film stock kind of. That was really good. I
Yeah.
liked that.
It was done. It was done in a way that takes you back to all those
Absolutely.
sleepovers and things where you're making up ridiculous stories, because they weren't even like established stories. They're definitely stories that someone was making up, and then you know.
Well, and that's everyone's done that. One of the books I remember about that is scary stories to tell in the dark,
Oh.
and even scarier stories.
God, those illustrations were horrifying.
They are making a movie about
They
that.
are, I heard.
Yeah, and Guillermo del Toro is attached to it in some
my
way.
Some of those stories were not scary. Some of them were really funny.
I just remember the one with the zit, and it turned out to be a nest full of spiders in her face.
So many.
Oh.
There were gross ones, funny ones, a couple of legitimately scary ones. But those illustrations will haunt me until the day I die.
For those who think you've gone to a
Horrifying.
literature podcast, we're just going off the rails again. That's all. Don't worry.
But you know what I'm talking about.
You do.
I think we've spent like all of 5% of this podcast actually talking about the Sandlot, which is great.
It's gonna be our highest rated podcast.
It's just it's all the nostalgia.
That's
that
what
the
that's the whole
movie
thing. Yes,
spurs on.
absolutely. And this is why you want to watch this kind of movie, just to bring you back to all that. Like, I remember that. I remember that. I love the fact that none of us were even close to being alive. My dad was 6 years old in 1962.
Oh sure.
But
Right.
it still brings us back.
yeah, it
Brings
brings you
us
back.
to your childhood.
Yeah,
Yes.
the times where you just went out and hung out with your friends and actually
it was
did
timeless,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
did
yeah.
stuff outside.
Because that's the quintessential kid summer.
So, tell us about your favorite scene, Kevin.
When Ham Porter is walking along the pool, schmoozing on the ladies. Oh my god. Hey.
He's like, I remember you.
Yeah.
How you doing, ladies? And he's got his jug just like, good.
He stops.
I've
he
been
turns
that kid at the
around.
pool.
The kiss at
kiss.
the end. Oh my god.
I've been that kid at the pool. You never do that.
Swag.
Hey, ladies.
Swag, kid.
Hi. Hey
He-
there, sexy.
And he
Just all those like.
and he does it again at the fairgrounds too, before they get sick on the chaw.
Oh my.
He does the
god,
same
that
thing.
was
He
so
sees,
funny,
he sees
too.
like 3 or 4 girls walk by. He's just like, "Hi, I've seen you before."
He was such a player. It was so funny. Oh, that scene. Now that was the scene. So, but before we get to that, we can talk about that scene after this.
I'm sure we will.
But Scott, what was your favorite scene?
Oh, thank you. A couple I could list off. Obviously, for me, being the geek, I like the erector set and all of
Those
putting it
were
together.
cool.
The bungee jumping with the catcher outfit and just hanging him over the side. It was all of those.
Which I like that tag at the end too when they say
He became a
bungee jumper. Or
No, he
ropes.
became a bungee whatever,
Rope
made money off of
makers,
it.
some shit like that.
But the other one too is on the 4th of July when they go out and have
the
their
night
only
game.
night game because
Oh,
of
yeah.
the fireworks, and then like any other kid in 5th grade and all of those ages right around there, instead of actually playing the game, they're just going to watch the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Ray Charles playing in the background. It's just perfect.
Yeah, that was a nice scene.
Yeah. Now we're
So-
all just
Still
like,
thinking of
ah.
his hand walking down. Like, hey, lady.
Do we want to talk about the scene
Well,
at the fair?
that's on my list of scenes I didn't like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
It's gross.
So let's talk about scenes we didn't like, Allison.
Okay, I have a lot of problems.
She's been building up to this. Your steam has been rising.
I love this movie. However, the portrayal of women in this movie is
Here.
so
Good job.
bad. They are all just the most two-dimensional, nothing characters that are just there to further the plot. Wendy Peppercorn especially, because she fits exactly the trope of the manic pixie dream girl.
The manic pixie dream girl.
It's
I
a
like that.
legitimate trope.
I got that.
And that it is a character who exists only to solve the problems of a male character and has no inner life of their own.
But she's a lifeguard, so she's making money.
And she
She
saved
has
lives.
but she has no real personality. She has no. She's
See,
Allison,
personally, I like
she's
the role.
just.
She don't know what she's doing. She don't know what she's doing.
See, I'm going to disagree with you. I love the role of women. This is when women were the stay-at-home moms. that
Oh,
did the
wow.
cooking.
Oh, wow.
I'm leaving. Bye, Kevin. again. We can't be friends anymore.
I get yelled at for hating on the Ghostbusters, but you can do that shit.
Oh no.
Hey, remember, bachelor pad here.
And now we know why.
Yeah,
The more you know.
oh.
But no, I mean, women were just nothing in this movie. They
Absolutely.
were
I agree.
scenery. And that's really upsetting to me as a woman.
I agree. And I think it misses a demographic.
Absolutely.
Because I think, with this kind of movie...
Put a
and
girl on the team.
perfect example, which came out about the same time, Mighty Ducks.
Absolutely. There's a girl on the team.
And that's...
Connie.
Yeah, and then Mighty Ducks 2 has an additional girl on the team, which gets a little
Because
weird.
girls can play sports.
Okay.
And not only that, they played sports better than the boys.
They play better than me.
Oh, God. If only podcast listeners, you could see my face.
That's why I said it.
Ah.
I'm the guy who, during a Little League, one more Little League story, I'm the guy who was playing in right field again, and we didn't have enough guys on the team because somebody didn't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 guys from another team came over and said, we'll sit on the bench so you have enough players. No, my coach sat me for one of the kids who came over. True story. I'm sitting on the bench while a kid in street clothes is playing my position, and he played it better than I did. True story. So I guarantee you any girl could have played better than me.
Oh, man. That's a great story.
That's a really good story.
I sucked at baseball.
Man.
Yeah, no, Allison, you are right there. And not only there's a lack of women just throughout the movie, you're
There's
absolutely
two.
right. They do absolutely nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and the one's a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Which is, for the time, okay, but she doesn't do anything to move
She does
anything.
nothing.
She says, go out and have fun.
She is.
She
I guess
urged-
she's a manic pixie dream mom because she's only there to solve the problems
And drive the stepdad
and
to the
drive
airport.
a stepdad. She,
Drive him out of the plot.
and to exactly. And she when she comes in and like tells the story of where the baseball came from, he's like, even my mom, a grown-up girl, knew who Babe Ruth was. I'm like, yeah, because you're an idiot, Smalls.
Oh, okay, let's point out, though, not only Smalls is an idiot. Okay, yeah, okay. It's the time before Google, so he has to put down what is the Bambino. Right? He
That
probably,
was funny.
he probably
I
went
do like how he
baseball things to
That
remember.
was the smartphone of the time, so he went to the library and looked it up after that. But all these guys are like, oh, you don't know who Babe Ruth is? When you look at the ball they forge and then they use to replace, it actually is spelled R-U-T-H-E.
Yeah.
Not one of those kids knew how to spell the damn name.
Yeah. Well, they made a comment about it. They're like,
Baby Ruthie?
Baby Ruth. Yeah.
It is my favorite candy bar.
Babe Ruth?
Yes.
Nice.
Baby Ruths are delicious.
Lots and lots of peanuts.
Today's show is sponsored by Baby Ruth.
I wish
And
it was.
ISTV.
I wish it was. I pay too much money to go to movies, so somebody's got to sponsor me sooner or later.
I know.
Buy me tickets, AMC! Buy me tickets! Okay.
You sound like the old pedophile neighbor on Family Guy.
Hey there, Chris. Hey, Mr. Herbert. Get ready, some of you want to hammer down?
Yes, that mostly on
Sweet
paperboard. Should you
Get your
wish you
fat ass
can
in
bring
there.
me
Wow,
some
we are way off
good
topic.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what that voice sounded like.
Yeah. No.
No?
And for that voice, you get the awkward turtle.
Right.
Because this is a visual media.
People in podcast land should understand the awkward turtle. If they
Right.
don't, they can comment, and I will post a video of me doing the awkward turtle.
There you go.
And while you're doing that, Kevin, tell us about a scene that didn't work for you.
Ooh.
Or any scenes.
Well, I wasn't planning that. Well,
Well, it's because I just talked about it.
Well,
5
one
seconds
thing, I think the fair scene, it just, and I know I'm probably stealing this from you, Scott, but it plays zero role in the movie because what is the point of them? They're trying to be like big leaguers, and they do dip, but then it's dip, not food, which I
Can't eat it.
honestly I thought that was hilarious how they ate it. But I didn't know until years later what that even was and why it made him sick. Because I was young when it. I had no idea what chewing tobacco was or anything like that.
Right.
But what did that do for the movie besides?
Nothing.
Yeah, it played zero role.
Well, when the movie is an hour and 41 minutes
you
long,
need something. You
need some filler.
Absolutely.
You need Peppercorn getting perved on, and you need the guys puking on. By the way, I don't know what that ride was called in the movie, but I used to go to Adventureland in Des Moines, Iowa, and it's called the Queen of Hearts. That is the most easy ride to ride there is. You just go up and down and around in a circle. This is not like the mixer.
It's not like Crazy Fast.
But
either.
still, anything that just rotates like that gets me nauseous.
Oh, yeah, well.
Well,
That's
also,
coming from a kid who had motion sickness his entire life.
The one
Right.
thing, the one thing I got out of that scene was I was pissed off when I saw the tickets were only 15 cents. Have you been to the State Fair lately?
Okay,
It's
1962, Scott.
1962.
I don't care. Damn it! I want
Beer
some.
costs a nickel.
My kid's old enough to start riding rides. Those tickets are expensive.
Yeah, they are.
What's even more surprising is the cost of a baseball.
98 cents, and you had to go collect cans to do it.
That seems a little excessive.
That
for a
seems
baseball.
very expensive for.
However, I mean, baseballs are not cheap even now.
No.
But yet, still, 98 cents seemed a little excessive.
I agree.
And,
Also, that's a lot of bottles.
And also, why doesn't Benny just bat lefty? I mean, he should have just started batting lefty so he doesn't have as much power so they can play all day. But yet, then he would have been as good as what he was.
But Smalls hit a home run too.
He did. You don't understand that wasn't his ball, though. I'm sorry. I just had to cut that.
I think you guys hit it.
Stepdad's gonna kill him.
There's not many scenes and set pieces in this movie because it's very, very low to the ground, independent kind of flick. So you guys hit on the two scenes that annoyed the hell out of me too. For the very same reason, it was not, the pool scene wasn't needed, and also, I mean,
At least it provided, better comic relief than what the fair did.
to an extent. I mean, like watching Ham do a cannonball, which a few years before Home Alone did it 15 different times, so that made sense. But it was kind of worthless there. And then the fair scene, same idea. It was just padding. It shows the kids being.
To be correct.
Oh, was it Home Alone 2?
Yes.
Okay.
Lost in New York.
Yes.
My personal favorite.
I was gonna say arguably
Christmas
the
time
best.
is coming. Don't worry.
Movie. Sorry. Sidetrack.
My two movies I think of for flashbacks for this, well, three for Christmas, are Gremlins, Home Alone, and Die Hard. Just throwing it out. Just saying.
Should be 2, though. But whatever.
So, yeah.
Well, Home Alone 2 was in Christmas too.
You know,
Yes,
it's
it was. Why are we
March.
arguing about this?
I don't
March.
know.
We've got plenty of time to figure that out.
So that was my two. That's the same idea there. So
Yeah.
Um,
That didn't really work.
what are some of the stuff we're missing? What are some of the stuff that we didn't talk about?
Oh, yeah.
How about just Benny as a character? What he meant?
Yeah, we
What he-
kinda skipped over Benny.
We haven't
Go
really
for
talked
it.
about Benny.
Yeah, so I mean, Benny, who's just this stud of a baseball player who just sees this kid kind of struggling a little bit, yet he kind of takes Smalls under his wings and gets him to be able to play baseball well.
I'm telling you, Kid Mary Poppins.
Yeah, he in a way, he kind of is because, and I love how they're like he is just just such an athlete that he can just stick your glove in the air and he just. The probability that even a professional kid
Absolutely
comes
not.
close
Yeah.
to
But
doing that.
but the analogy was to the called shot, which which they made fun of Ham for doing later on. But the whole idea was Babe Ruth was so good he called his shot once. Which, by the way, that game he described the call shot at was not in Yankee Stadium. It was not the same game. It actually happened in Wrigley Field. But that being said, so they kind of made the analogy of Benny is so good that he can call his shot without even telling anybody. He just called it.
Well, and yeah, so I mean, Benny as a character, and then we can talk about all the different ways they tried to get that baseball. Those were good.
Explain to me where they got the helmets when they started doing the full-on erector set. They all look like little George S. Pattons in that scene.
Those were just legit. Those are just construction.
Had him in the treehouse.
I got all my erector set stuff. Which, by the way, if I could get my erector set when I was a kid to do what that erector set did, I would have played more of erector sets. He had like all the little gears and switches
How were they
and
able-
the catapult.
These guys are scientific geniuses.
The Smalls
They-
is.
They were all engineers. Like how they came up with not only the erector set and the whole system for the vacuums.
The Tommies went on and made the mini mall. So
True.
Yeah.
There you go.
And-
Maybe with all
And the one guy
Tommies.
got lost in the 60s, which somewhere out there he's, wandering around in sandals and doped out of his mind to this day.
This isn't based off of anything, is it?
No.
No,
Okay.
no.
Oh, I mean,
I do have a guy I work with in my building who I think got lost in the 60s too, and he hasn't found his way back yet.
fine.
He's in IT.
that was an interesting aspect how they made it feel like it kind of was a true story.
Yeah, with the
And-
opening
yeah.
narrative. Yes.
With the opening narrative and then the end when where are they now section.
Which, as Allison mentioned, this was written and directed and created by the same guy.
Yeah.
David Allen. I'm blanking on his last name.
Evans.
Evans. So you can almost assume that this is drawn from his childhood, probably not 1962, but drawn from his experiences. So that's why it seems so real to life, is because it's drawn from somebody's stories.
Right.
Which the best movies, even if they are fiction, come from some sort of experience.
Absolutely. There's
Almost definitely.
a little kernel of truth down in the bottom of it.
And the exaggeration of Hercules or the Beast. It's
so
with
perfect.
that terrible model that they had.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when he's jumping after the ball, after the catapult, first off, if that chain broke when that dog was running after him, I doubt that dog was going to be able to jump 10 feet in the air. And
Well, here's something. Obviously, all of the stuff with the dog is the skewed from the kid perspective,
Sure.
larger than life. From that merit, all of those ingenious plots could have been exactly the same sort of thing. That they really were not that, intricate. But it's from an exaggerated kid perspective, where they're like, oh, we're going to do these things.
You just took this to a whole new philosophical level. Look at that. We just took the Sandlot to a level
Classing up the joints.
It's metaphysical now.
Classing up the joint.
Just like the Babe Ruth fever dream.
Which, the one thing that I really like about the Babe Ruth fever dream is the whole Hank Aaron card.
Yes!
So he's like, I don't know why I want this. And you're like, oh, he's going to break your own record.
It's going to take another 12 years, but he's going to break
But it's
it.
gonna happen.
And it stands, by the way. In my book, Hank Aaron is still the home run king. Screw you, Barry Bonds. Screw you.
And your steroids.
Just saying. Sorry, Giants fans, although you hate him too. So, Hank Aaron is the home run king. Just saying.
So there.
Mark McGuire's mine.
He didn't break it.
He didn't break it.
He broke the single season.
I know he broke the season.
Not the career.
I understand that, but he's still my home run.
Well.
I'm just kidding. I don't really care.
Where's the cork at, boss?
That's right.
And I say that knowing Sammy Sosa was corked all the way to hell.
Absolutely.
But that being said, and going off on a complete tangent, that was one of the best baseball seasons
Oh
ever.
my God, it
The
was
race
great.
was amazing. I was at one of the games, not the games between Cardinals and Cubs, but watching the Cubs and watching Sosa hit a home run. I was just like,
I remember.
That's amazing.
I had just gotten home when he broke the record.
I was watching it. And well, he broke the record at a Cubs game.
Yeah. It was,
Yep.
Sosa,
because
yeah.
Sosa came in from
Yeah,
San
Sosa came in and shook his hand. It was just perfect. Now, of course, hindsight being 2020, we know a little bit more about that now, but everyone knows that season saved baseball because they were just coming off the strike a few years earlier. That season got people interested again. So, say what you will about corks and steroids, it saved the game.
Sure. Yeah.
Tangents.
I would like to. Curious as just how you don't really find out how they got to where they ended up being and how Smalls ended up becoming a radio announcer for the Dodgers and how the path Benny actually took. But yet, which you could have extended out, but it really would have not done too much for plot depth or anything like that.
And it reminds me, I'm on my 15-year anniversary for high school now. And that's how life goes. Mm-hmm. I don't think we're going to have a 15-year reunion, but if we did, it'd be one of those where, hey, there's John. He was a pud in high school. Now he's a doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what happened in between. He's like, oh, he's a doctor now.
Yeah.
That guy was an asshole. He's still an asshole, and now he's parking my car. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Glad you bullied me in high school, prick. I'm sorry.
Karma.
Did anyone else's heart hurt when that fence fell on the dog?
Oh, Hercules getting smashed by the fence. Although that was so obvious that he was just being told to stay, because as soon as they said, okay, get up, he hops up and goes. He's like, you're free now, okay.
I'm going to say the scene with James Earl Jones was a great aspect.
Oh, absolutely. We skipped completely over Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Or Mufasa, depending on how old you are.
And crazy how just a ball to your temple can make you go blind.
That's I don't hold that against the writers at all. I'm sure that kind of thing's happened.
It's possible.
Because if you have
I know. I just physically,
okay.
I just.
Well, if you have enough trauma to the optic nerve, you're done.
The right way and...
Yeah, it's just crazy how that can happen. But...
Well, and when I watch this now with James Earl Jones when he pops in, because honestly I forgot he was in this until he popped in. He reminds me of another great baseball movie that he was in as well, Field of Dreams, which is another one that we'll have to talk about someday. So it's just he kind of elevates the entire story when he shows up.
Well, yeah,
he's classing up the joint.
Well, exactly.
Seriously though, you have one of the greatest actors ever just all of a sudden just join in
He's like, why didn't you just knock on my door? I would have got the ball for you.
You have one of the greatest actors ever just come in and just I'm gonna definitely class up this movie quite a bit.
Like, sure, why not?
It's an awesome cameo for him.
Oh, it's great.
And how his relationship, how he actually played with Babe Ruth, and
I want to know how this script ended up on James Earl Jones'
yes.
desk.
This is a perfect part for you, James.
You say
These 5 minutes.
you say that it was obviously a money grab. I don't know how much money they gave him, but
Yeah, I can't imagine it was much.
when I got finished watching this, I rented it off YouTube, and YouTube suggested after that Sandlot 2, the trailer. Watch that. It was basically a remake of Sandlot done 10 years earlier. James Earl Jones is the only returning actor in that movie.
If he was just bored.
And then I started doing some digging, and there is a Sandlot 3.
Why?
And that one's free on YouTube. That tells you how well that was taken. And Luke Perry is in that one. That one is Luke Perry. I watched the first 5 minutes, and I swear I just had to turn it off. Luke Perry is a baseball player for the Dodgers. At the end of his career, he's actually finishing up his contract. He's going to retire, and he's a jerk. He's making fun of people on his batting practice, and he gets hit in the head with a ball and gets sent magically back in time to when he was a kid.
God, I hate everything about that.
That was the 5 minutes I watched. Then I turned it off. But it is free on YouTube because no one cares about copyright on that damn movie.
No thanks.
James Earl Jones did not appear in that one, I don't think.
Yikes.
The other thing I would just say is too, we've talked about a couple of them already, but this movie is full of just quotes that everyone says. Even if you've never even, even if you don't like the movie, you've probably
Even
told.
if you've never seen the
Yeah,
movie.
you've probably said to somebody, "You're killing me, Smalls."
I say that
All
so
the
frequently.
What are some of the other quotes that you like from this?
Forever. You play ball like a girl. And then
Hit him now.
Then they go back to just the name calling at one point where you got some good.
They got some good little zingers in there.
I can't remember them off the top of my head.
Who here are panty waists who wear their mom's bra? Raise your hand. All
Everyone
the kids,
raises
raise
their
your
hand.
hand. Yep, that's me.
Yeah.
I like going back to the Babe Ruth gene. Everyone gets one chance to do something great. It was just a nice little line. It was good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like a pop culture line.
There
but I
were
liked
some
it.
nice
I liked
sentimental
it.
moments in this movie for sure.
One of my favorite thing that Ham says to the batters is, if my dog was as ugly as you, I'd shave his butt and tell him to walk backwards.
On that note, let's talk about last impressions of this movie. Allison?
Even though I hate how they portray women in this movie, it still just gives you that wonderful nostalgic feeling, and it's fun to watch, and it's fun to quote, and I enjoy it. I don't watch it very often, but when I do, it's like
refreshing. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
I agree. It's one of those old movies where if it's on, I'll definitely sit and watch it, and I have no problem watching it over and over. Well, I don't have to watch it because it's never on over and over.
No, this is one of the ones you're not going to see on TNT every 5 minutes.
No, but
I had to rent it off
it's
YouTube.
still just one of those old school movies. It doesn't hold as high of a place like the Mighty Ducks series does. I really enjoyed those, but yeah, it's still just one of those movies where. That's right, ducks do fly together. I could have gone on a tangent. I could have gone on
I
a
think
tangent.
we've
save that for another day.
I think we've decided what's going to get coming out in 2 weeks, is what I think we just said there.
I would be perfectly fine with that, even though
Yeah.
I'm much more of a D2 kind of guy instead of original. But
We'll start with the beginning and work our way
that's
up.
fine. I'm game.
Someday we'll get to Sandlot 3.
No,
Ooh.
okay.
We have much better things to do with our time.
Oh, man. True.
Yeah, but no, it's a very. This is one for me a definition of nostalgic movie for myself. That takes me back to my childhood. This is definitely one of them,
Absolutely.
along with like Rookie of the Year,
Yes.
and Mighty Ducks. Is definitely up in there on the old sports movies that I can go back and watch and remember watching that as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and it is a straight up nostalgic movie for me.
Absolutely. It's all been said. I mean, this is a baseball movie. It's a summer movie. It's a kind of a coming of age story. It's just kind of perfect encapsulation. And as we kind of mentioned, I like this movie not so much for the story, not so much for the acting, not so much for anything else. It's a time capsule for that period of anyone's life who saw it when they were a kid.
Sure.
And it brings back a lot of memories. For me, it brought back a lot of middle school memories, Little League memories. It's just something that just kind of helped jog your memory. It's a really good movie that way.
And for people our age range, it does sum up our childhood quite well, even though it takes place 30 years prior to when we were growing up.
Absolutely.
It's timeless, and it takes us back to a time before cell phones when kids were kids, and just
And you had to go look at the encyclopedia.
Outside
Yeah.
all day.
yeah, you just went outside and
You came home when the streetlights came on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're absolutely right. When it's timeless for our age group and older.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And on that note, we're going to go ahead and wind things down for this edition of Flashbacks. As always, we want to hear from you. We want to hear how terrible we are. We want to hear how much smug I am, Ray. We want to hear how vapid I am, Nathan. So tell us what you think about us. And more importantly, as you kind of as you heard here, we kind of come up with this schedule on the fly. So I think we're going to be doing some Flying D action in a couple weeks. So we want to hear from you about what you want to hear us talk about. We want to hear how we can make this... What?
She started
quacking.
That's later. We'll do that next time.
I got excited. I'm sorry.
You got the closing for next time. But we want to hear from you. So to do that, you can find us in several different areas. You can find us on Facebook at the Front Row Movie Reviews. You can find us on Instagram at the Front Row Movie Reviews, right? That's right, okay.
Sure.
Twitter, Front Row Reviews with a Z.
Hashtag bring back the Z.
Yes, they're buzz. And on Gmail, you can email us at the Front Row Movie Reviews at gmail.com. So send us your send us your ideas, send us your comments. We're always trying to make this better because obviously if you don't want to listen to it, what the hell are we doing here aside from drinking beer? Which is not bad either.
I mean, there's worse ways to spend it.
No, there's not. So with that, I've been Scott Sinuses, and with me has been...
Allison Means.
Kevin... I can't think of a nickname for this one. Pelovic.
We'll just call you Ham. It'll
There we
work.
go. Call me Ham Porter,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Hello, ladies.
So remember, kids, there's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die. So follow your hearts, kids, and you'll never go wrong. And if that doesn't work, just don't be a goofus.
God, Goofus.
Yes, don't be a goofus.
Don't be a
We
goofus.
didn't even
And until next time, we'll go ahead and see you in the front row.